take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it high. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to never stop. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top.
Hey guys, I'm the Black Pearl and welcome to the latest episode of My Future, My Career.
And I am Zola. My Future, My Career is proudly brought to you by Nedbank.
Yes, it is, and this Nedbank initiative is aimed at equipping you with tools to make informed choices when it comes to choosing your career.
Now we'll take an in-depth look at different careers, what they entail, and we chat to industry experts in different career fields.
Now, I don't know about you, Zola, but you know what? Like sometimes I live for my next holiday.
Oh, Marapel, for sure. And whether you're a city slicker or more of the beach bum type, dreaming about that holiday is a sure way to escape a stressful day.
But did you know that you can make an excellent career out of tourism? More like a permanent holiday. In fact, let me tell you, tourism generates more income for South Africa than gold mining. Can you believe it? And the industry is growing all the time.
That is amazing. So if you want to find out more about what it takes to become as successful in this dynamic tourism and hospitality sector, you better stay right where you are.
Yes, please. Check this out.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
We kick off with a special message from the man himself, Mike Brown, CEO of Nedbank.
If you plan carefully, set goals for yourself, and then work hard to achieve these, you can be anything you want to be.
First up, we chat to Brandon and Zoliswa, students in tourism and hospitality at the University of Johannesburg. They give us the scoop on how you can study towards this dynamic career and what it takes to cut it in this diverse industry.
And later in the show, we get some top tips from the fairy godmother.
What I do is I teach people how to turn their dreams into reality.
All that and more on the show today.
Do you have big dreams of pursuing your ideal career but don't have the financial means?
Hey, check out the bursary info in your booklet to find out the many ways in which you can get the funds to study.
Yes, so let's get straight into it, yeah?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
Hello, my name is Mike Brown, and I'm the CEO or Chief Executive Officer of Nedbank. And I'm here today to talk to you about careers. Selecting a career for yourself can be a very confusing process. Now that you are in secondary school, you are expected to begin carving a path for your future. The difficulty is that at this point in your life, some of you might not have enough information or experience to make the right choice, and careers themselves are changing rapidly as technology evolves. I was fortunate enough to pursue a career I felt passionately about, but I was in a way lucky to start down the right path. Influenced more by what some friends were doing and what my parents thought than through any formal career guidance. After school, I completed a Bachelor of Commerce degree, followed by a diploma in accountancy, and finally qualified as a chartered accountant with Deloitte in the early 1990s. After 17 years in the banking industry, I have achieved a milestone in my career, to have the privilege of leading a proud organization that traces its history back to the 1830s. I say fortunate because I believe that I am the exception, not the rule. To help you become the exception and not the rule, we have launched the My Future, My Career initiative. Through a series of interviews with industry professionals and educational specialists, we hope to paint a clear picture of a wide range of careers available to you, so you don't just follow your friends like I did. To complement the series, we will also be providing each of you with a booklet containing national curriculum information, career information, places to study, and bursary information. These tools will assist you in making an informed choice that will point you in the right direction to match your skills, aptitudes, and passions to market opportunities and get you started on your selected path. Nedbank's slogan is "Make things happen." This applies not only to the bank, but to each of you in your own lives. So use the valuable information you will receive today to plan out your own future and make it happen. If you plan carefully, set goals for yourself, and then work hard to achieve these, you can be anything you want to be. Take every opportunity you have and don't be afraid to be ambitious. Who knows, you may even be the CEO of Nedbank one day, or maybe you have already set your goals even higher.
Keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
Now, let's see if you can solve this.
Is the following statement true or false? Tourism and hospitality is one and the same thing.
The answer coming up just a little later.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
So maybe you think studying is not necessary and you could easily whip together an awesome dish and serve guests with a smile. It can't be that difficult, right?
Actually, you know what, Zola? There's a bit of art, science and commerce to the hospitality and tourism industry. In fact, you may find a far larger scope of opportunities than you ever thought possible. With us now are Zoliswa Jaiya and Brandon Adams to give us the lowdown. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, Zoliswa, in practical terms, please break it down for us. What is hospitality and tourism?
Okay, tourism is basically the study of people who travel away from home and their needs and the industry's responses to those needs. And hospitality is about serving people, usually at hotels, restaurants, and so forth.
Yeah. Now tell us about what you studied and what the course entailed.
Okay, I studied a national diploma in tourism management, which is 3 years. And it entails a variety of subjects over the course of the 3 years, some of which include marketing for tourism, tourism development, destinations, because obviously you need to know the countries, international affair calculations, and development. Did I mention development?
You just did it again. Yeah, it's okay. And you, Brandon?
I myself am doing a national diploma in hospitality. It's a three-year course as well. It involves doing hospitality financial studies, hospitality industry law, as well as food and beverage studies, which includes a South African wine course as well as wines of the world course. Then there's hospitality, health and safety, and nutrition and culinary studies as well, which is your practical experience. And we have your practicals in the kitchens, in restaurants, as well as in hotels in the later, as you further in your studies.
Wow, let's get into the kitchen. Well, not literally. It sounds like it could be a bowl of fun, especially the practicals, Brandon. So I want to know, including you, Zoliswa, is it a hard course and is it hard to get in?
It's a very intensive course which pushes each learner to their limits because you work under pressure a lot. First of all, you have to complete your South African National Senior Certificate. After completing your senior certificate, you then have to achieve a minimum APS score, which is a scoring point which a university uses. To achieve your APS score, you convert your percentages, which you achieve per subject, into a points. For example, with mathematics, if you achieve 50 to 59%, it automatically gives you 4 points for that specific subject. And so you convert all your subjects into points, and then you add that up to achieve a minimum APS score of 24 points with mathematics as a subject, or a minimum of 26 points with mathematical literacy as a subject. Thereafter, you then go on to do a benchmark test, which is a compulsory numeracy and literacy test, which all matriculants have to do if you wish to study at university now. And after completing that, you finally get interviewed by the hospitality lecturers, who select individuals with the right personality and general knowledge of the hospitality industry, not only to cope in this course, but as well in the industry once graduated.
For you, Zoliswa?
Okay, well, the process is very, very, very similar. You need to have your matric qualification as well. You need to adhere to the APS score as well. And you also go through a batch of tests and interviews, and you'll be accepted. It's not a difficult or long process.
Yeah, okay. Now, Brandon, which subjects should learners in high school be doing if they're interested in the whole travel and hospitality industry?
Okay, with travel and hospitality, I'll start off with hospitality being your accounting, your business studies, your consumer studies, as well as hospitality studies. And then with the tourism aspect, you have to do tourism studies as well as geography, which counts in your favor as well. And mathematics is, I think maths is compulsory now, be it mathematics or mathematical literacy.
Now, how does the course that you studied help you now in the industry?
Well, it helps a great deal with the industry because it gives you management principles, because it is they're both management courses. You know, you're not just cooking in the kitchen or just serving people in a hotel. It is actually a management course, which means that you can go into a managerial position, be it in the hospitality industry or be it in the tourism industry as well. So managerial aspects to it as well as operational.
Brandon, for you?
The managerial and leadership skills which Zoliso was speaking about, which we gain, empowers us, the graduates, in such a way that we're able to outrival our peers within the first 3 years of graduating. Our practical experience, exposure to industry through work integrated learning, also gives us a year's experience to put on our CVs after graduating, which counts largely in our favor. 99% of our graduates are placed in jobs after graduating, and the other 1% is made up of individuals who normally pursue other careers or other goals.
Well, that is really impressive, eh? But I want to know, what was your favorite part of your course?
Okay, for myself, I've got a serious sweet tooth. So confectionery was my favorite. I loved baking, making, and of course eating desserts and cakes when doing our practical experience in the state-of-the-art kitchens, which are on the premises at the School of Tourism and Hospitality.
So, Lisa?
Okay, for me, one of my favorites was marketing for tourism. You know, everybody's interested in marketing, and more importantly, development and tourism, to increase the way tourism is done in this country, to make sure it's done in the correct way and it benefits the correct people.
Now, with all the good, obviously there's a bad side. So what was the hardest aspect of your studies? So, Lisa?
I think being a first year in general, it's quite difficult adjusting to being at university. And with tourism, some people wouldn't think this, but there's quite a lot of studying in between, especially with certain subjects such as development and cultural tourism. So you actually really need to be disciplined and actually sit down and sit in front of the books and be dedicated with your schoolwork.
Where are you in your careers at the moment?
I myself am doing an internship at Holiday Inn Sandton, which is my last 6 months for my third year that I'm currently doing. My elective is accommodation, so I focus mostly on housekeeping as well as front office. Housekeeping part I've done already, and that covered cleaning rooms. You have to know what's involved in the financial and labor aspect of it all, and as well as office coordinator for housekeeping. Then moving over to the front office side, where you've done your reception work, which is your reservations, check-in, check-out, and general guest inquiries. And then from the back of office, you also do your standard operational procedures for staff members and the likes. And as of last week, I was placed on a trainee management course with Holiday Inn Sandton, which is quite an exciting moment for myself.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Okay, with my internship, I did it last year, as my third year was last year, so I've completed it, and I undertook it at a Swedish tour operator. So I'm completed with that. This year I'm doing my fourth year, but I'm working as a tutor, so I'm employed by the university. I'm tutoring the first years. So that's what I'm currently doing.
Now, why is it important for one to do an internship? Is it the requirement of the industry, or can you just do it by choice? I mean, why can't you just graduate and then start working from there?
It is a requirement of the course to do your internship, or else you won't qualify for a national diploma. But at the same time, besides being important in order to graduate, I would say personally it is important because the industry always looking for experience, and experience will always count for you. In some cases, experience is worth more than just sitting in front of the books and actually learning about something. And experience exposes you to the industry that you want to go into to make a sort of a final decision as to whether you actually want to go into this industry or you actually just want to go somewhere else and pursue other avenues.
True. And what advice do you have for learners who want to get into the travel and hospitality industry?
Well, first of all, you have to be a person who works well with other individuals. You have to be a people's person. You have to communicate well with not only with clients or guests, but with your colleagues as well. And you cannot have an ego in this industry. That will be your downfall, which I've seen happen many times. The dirtiest job, cleaning a storeroom. Do it with pride because someone's always watching and you get recognized from doing small things such as that. And upon completion of that, you can also go on to your BTEC or degree, as well as the MTEC or your Masters in Hospitality, which is offered in tourism as well.
And you? What advice do you have?
Well, you have to definitely be passionate. I know it's a cliche, but seriously, you have to be passionate. Sometimes, especially when you start out, you always start at the bottom. So if you only have thinking about money or whatnot, it's not going to get you through. You really need to be passionate about what you're doing. You need to have, need to be able to serve people. You know, you need to love working with other people as well. You need to communicate well. You need to work well under pressure. That is vital because this industry can sometimes break you. So you need to be quite thick-skinned. And yeah, just passion, passion, passion.
And you are clearly passionate about what you do. I can see it and hear it. Wow, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Lovely.
Yeah, thank you for serving this interview with a smile, and it will not leave a bad taste in our mouths.
I hope not.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
After the break, have you ever imagined living in a hotel? Room service?
Such a diva.
Well, next up we have two guests from the Southern Sun group of hotels.
Yes, we do. So all of that right here on My Future, My Career, brought to you by Nedbank. You really don't want to miss it.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
Our course wasn't perfectly trimmed. There were no greenkeepers, or sprinklers, or even grass for that matter. On our course, the hazards were real. Some might say it wasn't a course at all. But when you've played where we have, you know the true value of those who can make things happen. Nedbank.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
Before the break, we wanted to know whether the following statement was true or false. Tourism and hospitality are one and the same thing.
And I've got the answer for you. The answer is, of course, false. Okay, tourism refers to traveling for recreation or leisure. You'll also hear it referred to as travel and tourism. Hospitality, on the other hand, involves services like restaurants, hotels, and entertainment.
Thanks, that was very informative as well, so let's check it out.
Keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top.
With us today is Mayan Mudli and Taku Burerwe. Mayan has been a hotel manager for 10 years and has worked in the hotel industry for over 23 years.
Now, Taku has been in hospitality for over 7 years and is passionate about food and beverage. Both work for Southern Sun, one of Africa's hotel groups.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks very much.
Great stuff. Now, Mayan, as a hotel manager for Southern Sun, what exactly are your responsibilities?
I guess in a nutshell, my responsibility is to take care of the hotel and take care of the business. That's in a nutshell what it's all about.
And what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, for an example, if I could give you, it varies from the high level sort of what you call part of the work to the finer detail. So if I could say tasting of the coffee would be a daily process. So it's kind of a fun process, but it's where the detail really lies. To the high level revenue management sort of future outlook and keeping with the strategy of the business on a daily basis. So that's what it entails. I don't know if that answers the question.
It does.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But would you say is it a very demanding job?
No, it's actually not a demanding job. It's actually quite enjoyable, and I think if you're really passionate about anything, nothing is demanding.
Yeah. What qualities do you need to be a good hotel manager?
I think one of the stuff that you do need is the ability to have the attention to detail, to be professional, and to be able to adjust your who you are for the time, the need, and the different types of people that you are around all the time.
Because you are dealing with people most of the time. So please do tell us some of your most challenging experiences.
Well, I think it's when you do deal with people all the time, that's in essence the challenge, because you're always reliant on somebody else for the whole task to be done. You're reliant on the customer base, which is people. So that in essence there lies the challenge. It's people. So you got to be the leader to your people and the host to the guests that are coming through. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I can imagine how great it must feel to make a guest really happy.
Whenever you touch anybody in any sphere of life, it feels good. It's like almost giving all the time. And when you have people that have come into your home as such, to us it's more like the home. So it's about giving those people those rewards that they've come for, and helping and assisting and making sure that you take care of their every need, and that feels really good. That's the reward.
Now, how do you become a hotel manager?
Lots and lots of hard work, dedication, patience. But seriously, you can enter the industry with two ways. One is through the formal colleges, or the other one is via your hotel, where you're in service sort of situation where you learn as you go. So those are the two ways you can enter the industry, and obviously over the years work towards your goal.
So apart from the hotel, what other jobs are available in the Southern Sun Group?
Well, within the Southern Sun Group, you look at it as any other big formal industry, and there's a number of careers and a number of jobs available. Jobs like accountants, you have commercial people, you have sales and marketing people, people that do a hell of a lot of work for us. I mean, you can see our adverts and all sorts of other stuff that's all over the place. So that takes a lot of careers, a lot of people. So it's actually quite a diverse sort of situation that attracts lots and lots of jobs.
Yeah. Coming to you, Dagu, what does an assistant food and beverage manager do at a hotel?
A very interesting question. You're basically managing key resort areas, and these basically involve staff, your clients, and the finances. And the standards that we set, so on that front, you're just ensuring that all the clients are served as per the standards, and ensuring that staff is motivated enough to deliver the standards that would have trained them, and ensuring that, of course, all the money that is pumped into the business reaches the end.
Now, I've heard of these terms, back of house and front of house. What do they mean?
Front of house is any staff member that has contact with the guest. For example, your receptionists, your waiters, your barmen, and so forth. Whereas back of house is your housekeeping, ladies that are doing ironing in the laundry, kitchen stuff, and perhaps offices at the back and so forth.
Now, Dagu, describe a typical day at work for you. Do you work like really long hours? How does it work?
Well, there's different hotels in different areas, but for me per se, working at the airport for an airport hotel, at times we have to put up with a lot of long hours because of delayed flights and stuff like that. But it's also very rewarding. It's exciting. You don't quite see the time moving because of what will be happening. But yeah, I should say it's very interesting because it grooms you so well throughout the day. If you come out and you finish that shift, whether it's 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., I can tell you can go and work elsewhere because, let's face it, working with people at times is not very easy. But with experience, if you make it, you can work elsewhere. So that's a typical day for me.
Great stuff. Now, would you say that would you need to be a great cook in order to be in charge of food and beverage, or are you more involved, or is it centered around management?
Tell you what, somewhat, if you have knowledge, culinary knowledge, that's an added advantage. However, if you do not have it, it doesn't sort of disqualify you from becoming a good food and beverage manager. If you do have it, everything that comes out of the kitchen, you can either take it back or send it to the guest, depending on your knowledge. So yeah, I should say knowledge of that is a big advantage.
What's your favorite part of the job?
Okay. Interacting with guests and ensuring my staff are happy and well motivated to deliver the expectations that we set, or what we call hallmarks. That's my passion.
Now, speaking of guests, I want to know, what's the funniest complaint you've ever gotten?
Interesting question. We actually do not have something that we call a funny complaint. It becomes funny, of course, after the guest has left, when we chat and talk about it at the back. But all that we take as opportunities to enhance and ensure that we touch that guest in a very, should I say, interesting way that they will come back. So there's no small, there's no funny quiz, there's no funny complaint. Like I said, it's an opportunity to ensure that we mesmerize, we excite.
What kind of training do you need to become a food and beverage manager?
Like Mayan said in the beginning, it's basically the same. There's various entry points. Again, you can either go to a formal college, for example, UJ, hotel schools in Sandton and so forth, and get formal training, after which you can join any hotel group of your choice. Or you can be employed and perhaps get internal training in food and beverage per se. And all that it takes really is passion, and yeah, you will make a great manager if you've got passion and you want to start things and see them right to the end. Yeah.
I'm hearing a passion a lot, but now I want to know what other qualities would one need to become good at your job?
Well, very important, leadership skills, time management, interpersonal skills are pivotal. In that, food and beverage is very labor intensive from a perspective of managing staff as well as dealing with guests. So if you have a way around getting people around people, you do very well, because you can turn any situation into light on the guest from a guest perspective and from a staff perspective. So yeah, those qualities are pivotal.
Yeah, now mine, I want to know from you, do hotels offer in-house training, or is it better to do external courses?
It depends. It varies. It depends on the person's situation. Both are great, because when you in the hotel business, you're basically getting the practical and the theory at once. Whereas when you're in the college situation, you do the theory and then you get into the practical. So the end result is the same. But the chances of getting a job or getting a foot into the door is greater if you're an in-service trainee, if you're in the environment working towards whatever you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is the hotel industry a rewarding place to work in?
I guess it is. Otherwise we wouldn't be, and we wouldn't have been doing it for so long. It really is. It's something that it's what we are cut from. It's when you what you call have to do something that takes out the bigger part of your day. You better have passion for it. You better enjoy it. So and getting in and being here is not easy, but it is extremely rewarding.
Yeah, now there are learners right now who are watching and who want to enter the industry. What advice do you have for them? Let me start with you, Taku.
I would say if you have passion for the industry, it's very rewarding. It's exciting in the sense that you get to meet a lot of people. You get to travel continents while you're in South Africa. You get to know the world while you're in South Africa. Not to say you don't have to travel, but you get to be very knowledgeable. You get to play a very important role that perhaps a lot of people don't realize. It's very rewarding. It's exciting. And you meet a lot of people, and it's got a lot of rewards. Yeah.
And you, Maya?
I guess from my side, it's a mixture of old school and modern. In terms of old school, I mean, you've got to be able to put in the time. You've got to be able to be patient. In order to achieve your goals, there's a lot of experience that comes in. You've got to learn the integral parts of the business, and you got to take it one day at a time. It's no quick wins, but when you do get there, you're a solid, rounded person that really can take on the world.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. You've been great guests.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and we'll see you soon at your hotel.
Of course. Now up next, some top tips from the fairy godmother.
Sure that we take it to the top.
My name is Donna McCallum, and I am a fantastically fabulous and magical fairy godmother. In each of these episodes, I will be covering one of the 10 tips in more detail. And just so that you don't miss out, here are the 10 tips. Tip number 1, be authentic. Tip 2, play to your strengths. Tip 3, have fun. Do what you love and love what you do. Tip 4, it's your choice. Tip 5, learn to learn. Tip number 6 is dream big. Tip number 7, take action. Tip number 8, overcome your fears. Tip 9, build support around you. And tip 10, gratitude. Today we're looking at the last tip, which is the fuel for making your dreams come true, and that is gratitude. Start getting grateful for everything that you have in your life. The fact that you're in the cinema watching this program, you're young, healthy, and you have your exciting future ahead of you, you have huge amounts to be grateful for. Gratitude is an amazing energy that generates positivity in your life and shows you how much abundance you already have around you. I recommend that you start doing gratitude practices every day. Every night before you go to sleep, write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Or one of my practices, every morning when I brush my teeth, I go through in my head all of the things that I'm grateful for. You may even want to chat to your parents, brothers, sisters, friends about the things that you're grateful for too. When you fill your life with an attitude of gratitude, amazing things happen. Try it out and watch your life become magical.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
With us now, we have travel agent Debbie Trigg. If you've heard of that small village in the middle of the Tibetan plateau called Golmat, then maybe becoming a travel agent is just your thing. And we're about to find out more from Debbie. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, what exactly is a travel agent?
Travel agent would be the person that you would contact if you needed to get somewhere quickly or at any time. So for example, we would then arrange for you to have your flights booked, your transfers booked to pick you up from home, take you to the airport, book your hotel for you, anything that you might need to get you where you need to go.
And how does your job differ from that of a tour operator?
Tour operators focus on putting together specific packages and taking you to a specific place. So for example, a tour operator would arrange a guided tour of Soweto or a guided tour of Cape Town for you, whereas travel agents would be the more specific, getting you to that specific point first, and then the tour operator could take over from there.
Wow, Dabs, it sounds like you could be booking hotels, booking flights, and renting cars. It sounds like you need to be quite an organized person. Yeah. So what kind of qualities would one need to become a good travel agent?
You definitely have to be very organized. You're dealing with a lot of moving targets. There's always deadlines changing and dates changing and people needing things very quickly from you. So definitely to be organized. You also need to be able to work under pressure. You've got to be able to think clearly and think on your feet, because there's always going to be different things thrown at you at different times. Mm-hmm. A straightforward reservation would be someone who phones you and says, I need to go to Cape Town on Friday, book a car, hotel. You can do that. But then he phones you the next day and says, sorry, my meeting's changed to Thursday. And you've got several people doing that during the course of the day. So you've got lots of balls that you're juggling all the time.
Yeah, and do you need to qualify as a travel agent, or can you just start working for a company?
You definitely need to qualify in at least one of the booking systems. We work on what's called a global distribution system. There's several ones that you can use. The most commonly used ones in South Africa are called Galileo or Amadeus. Fairly quick and easy courses to do and non-negotiable. You need to be able to work on those courses to be a travel agent. A diploma in travel and tourism is a definite plus because it gives you a broader view of what the career entails, but it's not going to be the be-all and end-all. The biggest and most important thing we need is people who are motivated, passionate, and ready to work really hard and under pressure.
Now, you work for Rennie's Travel.
Yes.
As operations manager.
Yes.
For the in-house travel. Let's take a day in a life, a typical day-to-day responsibilities. What do you do?
My main function is supporting the teams that are on the ground, that are booking, the consultants that are booking the travel. So I've got to make sure, firstly, that they've got the right tools to do the job. Are the systems working? So if in an office, for example, that there's a power failure, have we got systems in place to get them up and working quickly as possible? Managing the staff, making sure that everybody's trained correctly, if there's new products out there. So it's coordinating all of that as well for them.
Now, is it easy to start up your own travel agency, or do you have to work for an existing company?
I would say it's definitely better to work for an existing company first. To start up your own travel agency is quite difficult, and you need to have a lot of money to do it. You have to become registered with IATA, which is the International Air Travel Association, and there's quite large financial deposits that need to sit with them to be able to do that. So I definitely recommend to start working either for a existing travel agency such as Rainiers Travel, or to go as an independent travel consultant, or ITC as we call them, where you work for yourself, but you've got the support of a company like Rainiers Travel behind you, providing you with all the tools that you need to be able to do your job. And then yes, definitely at some point you can go from there to open your own agency.
Now, are there a lot of work opportunities within the industry besides from working for yourself?
Yes, I would say there are. Travel is quite difficult in that it's very directly impacted by world events. You need to have a good general knowledge and know what's going on in the world, because things like the recession that we've just gone through have a direct impact on travel. The volcano that erupted in Europe like a couple of months ago impacted us directly. A lot of travel got stopped. And if people stop traveling, then there's no work for the consultants, but obviously things pick up again. So being a travel consultant, as long as you are on top of what is happening and you know what's coming down the line, you're not going to have a problem. But it also opens a lot of doors to you. Within travel itself, we also got sales and marketing teams that are going out and selling the products that we have. There's careers in putting those products together, working with tour operators, working with your hotel suppliers, your car rental suppliers. So it definitely opens a lot of doors to a wide range of careers further on the line.
Okay, and do you need to be good with computers?
Definitely would help. One of the biggest things in our industry at the moment is the internet's booking online. It's a huge portion of the work is done through that now. So if you have the basic office skills of being able to use email and that kind of thing, definitely, and being able to use the internet to your advantage, being able to search for information on destination so that you can get your customer to where he needs to go as quickly and as fast as he needs to get there.
Now, do you ever get jealous booking fantastic holidays for Pearl and Zola to Mauritius? Or do you also have perks?
Seychelles.
Seychelles. Oh.
all the time. But it's also, you do, but it's also great because I know now where to go on holiday, and you also learn about places that you would never have thought of to go. So everybody tends to want to go to the Mauritius and the Seychelles, but there's some brilliant places that maybe you've never even heard of. The island of Reunion, for example, is not very popular. Not many people know about it, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So definitely, I mean, for me to pick a holiday takes me forever because you just don't know where to go. There's so many to choose from.
Wow, so what are the perks that you have as a travel agent?
You get access to a lot of what we call agents discounts. So we've got very good relationships with the suppliers. We obviously work quite closely with all the hotel groups, the car groups and the airlines, and you can approach them for agents discounts. And a lot of them are also quite forthcoming with giving complimentary travel, which is fantastic if you can get it, because they know that if you are traveling on or using their car rental or staying in their hotel, you're going to go back and sell it to their clients for them. So it's an advantage, and it's also considered training. So you definitely, I think ours is the only industry where you almost get to go on holiday for training. We have programs where we send our consultants to various destinations to teach them about London and how do you get there. What do you do when you get to Heathrow? Do you get on the underground? Do you take a taxi, or do you arrange for someone to pick you up? So we'll send our consultants and give them that experience and go visit a couple of hotels in London and go see how the underground works. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of people that have never traveled before. So you mention something like the underground to them and they might not actually even know what it is, but they're busy booking someone to go there and use it. So definitely one of the perks of the job is getting to travel to those places for yourself.
That's amazing.
And I think I want to do it now. Yeah. Now, what do you enjoy most about your job?
The fact that no 2 days are the same. Travel changes all the time. The day-to-day booking of flights, I mean, that's pretty standard. But our industry is, as I mentioned earlier, impacted by what's going on in the world all the time. So you could be driving into work one morning and hear that there is a strike on with the Air France pilots. That's going to affect what happens during my day today because I might have passengers on those flights. So no 2 days are the same, and I love that because there's no time to get bored. You're always busy. You don't have a quiet time as a travel agent. So I really, really enjoy that.
And what do you hate? What can't you stand about your job?
Unfortunately, as much as we try and make the industry as paper-free as possible, because obviously we're also trying to make sure that we are doing the right thing by being eco-friendly and that there is paperwork. And unfortunately, that has to get done, and that's not the favorite part of my job. But yeah, it's one of those things. There's not too much of it, but yeah, we have to get some of it done.
Now, Dabs, please give the audience members watching right now on how to get into the industry. Will they enjoy it?
they'll love it. But only if they are passionate about travel and about knowing what's going on in the world. Being a travel agent, you can't sit behind your desk. It's not a data capture job where you're just working you've got to know what's going on in the world. You've got to listen to the radio. You've got to be interested in what's going on out there, because that's going to make you a better consultant, better be able to deliver service. We are a service industry, and we need people that want to come to work and make people happy. You know, you want to be able to pick up that phone, and Zola must put down the phone and say, wow, that was an absolute, I love dealing with Debbie. I'm going to make sure that I book my next trip with them again. Or if you phone, I mean, to give you an example, I've had a passenger before phone me, stuck in London, wife goes into labour. Now, you don't want to miss the birth of your child, and I made that happen to get him back, and we need people like that, and that's the fun part of doing this job, and we need people who want to do that.
Debbie, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for all that information.
It's amazing, hey?
Yeah.
The new Debs.
Yes, my best friend Debs. I'm gonna book through your flight.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
Keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
Before we go to the break, let's give our brain some exercise with this brain teaser.
A hostess has 7 guests and 6 potatoes, all right? How can she give an equal amount of potatoes to each guest? Here's a tip. Don't use any fractions, they're not going to work. So while you think about it, the answer's going to come after this.
Take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to...
Next up, we have Erica and Emilia from Energy Guides.
See you after this.
Keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
It's happened 600 times in the last century alone. When spiraling winds gather up water masses, it's a strange storm that follows. In extraordinary times, it's your approach that matters. Nedbank Capital.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
With us now are Erica and Emilia.
Now, Erica Kemken is the Financial and Administrative Manager of Energy Guides. They facilitate training around South Africa and provide tour guides with general as well as foreign language training. During the World Cup, they also trained 400 volunteers to assist with the smooth running of this great event.
Yes, they did. And next to her is Emilia Kasangili, a graduate of Energy Guides. Now, she has her NQF Level 4 and National Certificate in Tourism Guiding. She has worked at the Mount Grace Country Spa and was also involved in the 2010 World Cup as an accommodation assistant. How awesome.
Awesome.
Ladies, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Erica, let's start with you. I mean, you are the principal of Energy Guides, which is a facility where you have tourist guides. What subjects do you offer?
Yeah. We train tourist guides, but there are different categories. There are site guides, for example, Constitution Hill or Newtown. Then we have regional guides, that's Gauteng or the provinces or different regions. And then we have national guides, and they can guide all over the country. Then there's also nature guides or culture guides, and we also train tour consultants who can then work in the office like Emilia is now doing, selling tours.
And what kind of things do people learn as part of the courses?
They have to have a good general knowledge of South Africa. Then we learn about heritage of South Africa, sustainable tourism. Very important is care for customers, how to look after our customers' needs. Picking up at the airport, meets and greets. National and international legal framework. There are lots of subjects. There's 26 subjects in the qualification.
Oh. Wow, that's amazing. Now, does one need to qualify through a facility like Energy Guides, or can I do it out of it?
No, you need to go through a training provider. You can self-study some of the things, but the assessment needs to be done through a THETA accredited training provider. And once we, as a provider, get your THETA certificate, we send you off to the Gauteng Tourism Authority, and they issue you with your guiding qualification, that is your guiding card, which has your regions at the back, and they give you the badge. And that's it. And that's what gives you the passport to guide.
Yeah, and what subjects should learners be doing in high school to get into guiding?
History is a very important subject, or an interesting subject. Biology, geography. Maths always helps because you need to always work with money, but those are your main ones.
Now, as a guide, would you say it's useful to actually speak a second language?
Yes, a second language is a definite plus, and that is why at Wits Language School, for example, at the moment, there are 80 learners on a learnership, and they are studying 3 days of part-time language, either French, German, Spanish, or Mandarin, and the rest of the time tourism. So the more languages you speak, the better your job chances.
And why is it so important for people who are involved in tourism and hospitality to be trained? Why do they need to be trained?
Because we want to maintain our standards. We want to show our clients the best side of South Africa, that we are skilled, we are professional in every avenue of our work, and we work together well. So it's important that we have qualified professionals who are doing the job.
Love it. Now, for one to train as a guide, are there any bursaries available out there?
Yes, there are quite a lot of learnerships available. THETA, that's our Tourism, Hospitality, Education and Sports Training Authority. They have got quite a few learnerships for the different fields of guiding, tour consulting, as well as the other hospitality industries. And there are others, like the Wits Language School, which I mentioned before. That's sponsored by the Job Creation Trust. Fair Trade sponsors quite a lot through lotteries, and there are many bursaries available.
Now, Erica, we know that South Africa is a very big place, so do you have to qualify as a tourist guide for each region, or can a Gauteng guide work all over the country?
No, it's very specific. So if you're a Gauteng guide and you want to go and bring your guests to Sun City, there you would be, if the police would hold you up, you would be illegal. And then you get a 5,000 Rand spot fine, and the tour operator gets a 10,000 Rand fine, and you get vouched as an illegal guide. So you only work what your card says, the region that your card says you're allowed to work. It's very specific.
Now, the tourism SETA divides guiding into nature guides and cultural guides. Please tell us the difference.
Culture guides are city guides. So they do township tours, city tours, museum tours, anything that's got to do with people, cultures and their buildings. Nature guides are out in the field. So they will identify grasses, trees, birds, be hiking guides, trail guides, canoe guides, whitewater rafting guides, even white shark diving guides. So there's a numerous range of different nature guides that you can become.
And are there good job prospects for guides?
Yes, there are, because of the different range. So you could work in a museum first and then work yourself up and do the whole area and then build up provinces and then become nature. So guiding is not full-time employment, generally speaking. It's part-time and it fluctuates, but they have got good prospects, yes.
Now, Emilia, we're on to you now. I want to know, having graduated through Energy Guides, as a tourist guide, what do you think are the main responsibilities of a tourist guide?
Well, as a tourist guide, not only knowing your history of the country or the nature, the main responsibility for a tourist guide is basically health, comfort, and also safety with regards to your guests. And if you talk about safety, you have to be aware of which place are you taking your tourists? Are they safe of where they're going? And then with regards to health, you also have to know about the backgrounds of your clients, like someone who's suffering from TB or who's suffering from whatsoever. And then with regards to comfort, you also have to make sure that all your guests are comfortable of where they are and they're enjoying the place.
Emilia, I want to know, and you have to be honest, was it hard to qualify as a guide?
For me personally, it wasn't really hard, but there was hard work to it. You had to know basically almost everything about your guests. Like Erica has mentioned, late wake-ups, ensure that everything is in order. I'll give a perfect example. While I was working at the Mount Grace, I dealt with the Brazilian group during the duration of the World Cup. So I dealt with the Brazilian groups. Now that group was it was a very difficult group because they partied till late at night, and I had to ensure that before I go to sleep, everybody was back in their rooms and there were no complications. So it's really hard work. It's unfortunate, but you're the last to go to sleep.
So what made you choose this career path?
Basically, it had to do with passion, and I'm a more of a people person, and also the history of our country actually made me go into that route. I wanted to know more about what has happened, our great-grandfathers, what they did and so forth. Yeah, that's what led me actually to do tourist guiding.
Yeah, and you also did a learnership in travel and tourism.
Yeah.
I want to know about this. Where did you do it and what exactly did it entail?
I did it a tour vest, okay, under theatre, as Eric had mentioned, under theatre. And it's more, if I had to compare it to tourist guiding, there's very different. With tourist guiding, you go out, you meet people, you tell people about the history, you tell people mostly about everything of your country. Whereas as a travel and tourism, it's more of like selling your product and selling service to the people outside who want to come inside the country. Yeah, it's more of like an outbound thing. You go out and you sell. Yeah.
Now tell us about your current work right now.
My current work, it's another different level again. Currently, I'm doing sales and marketing assistance. With regards to that, we work a lot with selling the product as well, like I've mentioned, and market the product and so forth. Yeah, and I'm working under Team, which is a sports and events company. So basically, we target sports events.
Amelia, would you say that your tourist guide training was a good grounding for your current work?
Yes, it was. It gave me a lot of advantages, and it also taught me, like, we dealt in practical work, which I actually took in and practiced it at my current work. So it did actually, yeah.
Great stuff. So what would you say you enjoy most about your job?
I enjoy researching and dealing with events. Like we're currently doing now, we're busy on the upcoming Dinon's World Nations Cup, which is very, very interesting. So yeah, that's basically what I enjoy most of my work.
And what would you say are the most important qualities one would need to be very successful in your job?
In my job?
Yeah.
You have to be passionate and you have to be very ambitious. You have to be a salesperson. You need to be very talkative. You have to be very committed to your job, and then you will succeed, yeah.
All right, this is going to the both of you ladies. I want to know, can one start their own tourist guide company, or do you have to work for one existing?
No, you can go and do your own business. One of the subjects in the guiding qualification is operate your own business, and we look at a tour operator's business. So as a guide, you're normally not employed full-time, you're employed freelance, so you are actually running your own business anyway, and then you just add on planning, itinerary planning, costing and all of that, and you become a tour operator. So you can do your own business very easily.
Okay, now this question I want to know, and I'm sure everybody wants to know, can you actually make a good living out of being a guide? Is the money good? I'm asking you, Amelia, actually, is the money good?
Well, for me, I don't really look at it at that perspective. You know, money is always, okay, an advantage afterwards. But then for me, usually it's basically, if I enjoy doing my work, I don't really look at how much I'm going to earn. So yeah, it's all about passion. If you're passionate about it, and then you get a reward of money afterwards. So.
But it's also seasonal. Guiding is seasonal. So in the FIFA World Cup, we all worked very hard, and we worked 24 hours a day, every day, and the money was good.
Yeah.
And now it's been winter and it's quiet and there hasn't been work. So it's very seasonal and up and down.
Okay.
Now, would you say National Pride is good for guides? Because obviously tourists are going to come in the country and they're going to ask you HIV-related questions and about crime. So how do you answer those, honestly?
Okay. Yes, you have to be well informed. That's why Amelia was saying you have to read. You have to read the newspapers every day. You have to be well informed and you have to give our tourists an objective view. So yes, we do have crime in our country. What is the government doing about it? What are they, as tourists, how can they look after themselves? What are the health and safety tips that Amelia was talking about, that we give to our clients so that they're not at the wrong place at the wrong time? Yeah. So we have to answer those questions. It's the first question we generally get. But if you answer it and give them confidence and secure them, then they'll have a good time and they'll be safe.
Yeah. Now, when I think tourist guide, I think, oh my word, what a great job. You get paid to travel. You know, so is it as fun as it sounds, or is there a lot of hard work that goes into it, Amelia?
You can make it fun if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is, seriously, it is a fun job to do. And, you know, there's just a lot. It's not a hard work as like I answered you previously. It's really not a hard job. If you really feel like this is you do it. So I wouldn't say it's very interesting as well, because you get to learn a lot of different cultures that you weren't aware of from your tourists.
And do you agree, Erica?
Yes, but guiding it is hard work and it's long hours. You need to always get up 2 hours before your clients, get the wake-up call, see the breakfast is okay, clean the bus, get the itinerary sorted, sort out the porters and all that stuff, and you only go to bed well after the clients have gone to bed. So they're having a party, and you have to ensure that you work before and after that. So it's very, very long hours and strenuous.
Yeah.
So you need to be
you
fit.
can't join the party. You can't.
Thank you so much, ladies, and keep on showing the tourists our beautiful country. And hopefully the students have learnt a thing or two.
Thank you for inviting us.
Of course. Wow. So before the break, we wanted to know the answer to this brain teaser.
A hostess has 7 guests and 6 potatoes. How can she give an equal amount of potatoes to each guest?
Do you know? 7 guests, 6 potatoes. How can she give an equal amount of potatoes to all the 7 guests?
Any guests?
Could you repeat
No
that
idea?
again?
She shares them.
And you, Emilia?
Wow.
Well, I've got the answer, okay? The answer is what, Zola?
By making mashed potatoes.
There we go. That way everybody gets equal amounts of potatoes.
Of course.
Awesome.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
With 2010 soccer fever hitting South Africa hard, the influx of tourists into the country brought about new formal and informal businesses on every street corner. Yeah, Zola?
Yeah, but since then, Pearl, how is the industry doing? And do we have opportunities and other draw cards beyond major sporting events? Well, to tell us more, Veronica records our chamber coordinator for conservation and tourist guiding at Theta.
Welcome, Veronica.
Thank you.
Now, I want to know what Theta stands for.
Theta stands for Tourism, Hospitality and Sport Education Training Authority.
So what does your organization do?
Our main function is to contribute to the rising of skills, to bring skills to the employed as well as the unemployed, and we also ensure that the training or the programs that we give to the people are the training that it's in need by the employers as well as the communities.
Now, the tourism and hospitality sector is quite huge. What subsectors does it incorporate?
It incorporates the conservation and tourist guiding sector, subsector where we're talking about your professional hunters, we're talking about your tour guides, we're talking about your environmentalists, we're talking about your conservationists and the trekkers and trail, etc., etc. We're also talking about the hospitality where we're talking about your accommodations, your B&Bs, your hotels, your restaurants, your cafes. We're also talking about the gaming and gaming and lotteries, where we're talking about the horse racing, the bookmakers, as well as the casinos. We're also talking about the travel and tourism, where we're looking at the airlines, your travel agents, your tour operators, as well as the sport, recreation and fitness, where we're talking about the gymnasiums, the gyms, the amusement beach parks, you know, your fitness facilities.
Lovely stuff. So why do you think is it important for those people that are involved in hospitality and tourism to be properly trained?
It is very, very, very important. I mean, for instance, I'll give you an example with a tourist guide. If you get a person, remember a tourist guide is a person who I can call the face of your country. When you, starting from the airport, when the tourists land, obviously will be in the hands of the tourist guide, and the tourist guide will be explaining everything, the place of interest, about our economy, about everything that's happening in the country. Let's take, for instance, you get that particular person, and that particular person doesn't have any knowledge of our country, doesn't have any knowledge about our economic. I mean, we'll start giving distorted information. I can give an example. Actually, I've heard about this. One of the tour guides, because he was not trained, he was not properly trained, and then he had to explain about Soweto. He was telling this tourist that, you know, you go to Soweto, they will mug you, they will kill you, they will rape you, they will do this. So, can you imagine, will that tourist
come back to South Africa again?
Never,
No.
never.
You'll find out that there are some codes and conducts that when you are a guide, you should adhere to.
So how do you know if a training facility is properly registered with Theta?
As a learner or as a parent who want to take the child to that institution, it's your responsibility to find out whether that institution has been accredited with us or not, because remember, we've got so many fly-by-nights out there. So you need to contact Theta and find out whether that institution has been accredited or not, or else you can also contact the Department of Higher Education and Training to find out whether that institution has been accredited or not before you can enroll in that institution.
Do tell us more about your learnership programs.
We have learnership programs for all of the 5 subsectors that I've mentioned earlier on. And our learnership programs runs for a year, and it's for the employed as well as for the unemployed. And then it runs for, it's a 1 year program that includes a practical component as well as theory component. And then there's a stipend that we give towards those who are unemployed. We give stipend for the whole year, and then those who are employed, I mean, your employment conditions are not going to change. You'll still get your salary from your employer on that date that you've agreed upon with your employer.
Now, are there a lot of jobs in the hospitality and tourism sector? And if so, where is the greatest need?
I can say yes. According to our research findings, we've realized that we need lot of, we need more of the chefs, we need more of the hotel managers, we need lot of the tour guides.
Yeah, so would you honestly tell me that getting into tourism would be a great career move?
Yes, I can tell you. The reason is, if you don't want to work for somebody, you can also open your own business. You can open your own guest house. You can open your own B&B. You can become a freelancer tourist guide. You can be your own, tour operator.
Now, how do I find out more information about Theta?
You can contact us at 011-217-0600. Or visit our website, which is www.theta.org.za. Or you can physically come to our offices. We are situated at corner Rivonia and Catherine Road. We are at Sandhurst Building, Block E, 3rd floor, and then that's where you'll find us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
you
so
very
much,
much, Veronica.
Pleasure.
Keep it moving, make sure that we take it to the top.
And finally, to complete our broadcast, we're joined by Morongwa Mokwena, who's here from the University of Johannesburg Psychological Services and Career Development Department. Now, Morongwa will run through some tools on how to choose the right career.
Yep, this week she will look at a very important person.
You.
Yes, this segment is called Who Am I?
Morongwa, take it away.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
The most important question you need to ask yourself when making a career decision is, who am I? Perhaps, what am I born to do in this world? What is my purpose in life? That is very important, because when you choose a career, you look for a place where your abilities, strengths, and weaknesses can be well accommodated. Now, there are many things that we can look at when looking at who the person is or what makes up the person as a whole. A few of those that I'm going to look at today are aptitude, personality, interests, values, skills, and goals. Looking at aptitude, this refers to the strengths that the person believes he or she has. And they include things like linguistic abilities, or the ability to work with languages and words, or whether the person is good with numbers, whether the person is good with other kinds of gifts, such as interpersonal skills, such as music, such as dancing gifts, everything that the person believes are natural gifts that they can use within the workplace. Aptitude nowadays, when we're looking at assessing people for career decision making, we also look at the rationality or the intellectual ability to learn, your ability to learn new things, and the amount of work that you have learned and been able to pick up from your environment. Secondly, when looking at personality, we're talking about the consistent way in which a person presents him or herself to the people around. We're looking at the way you interact with your friends, family. We're looking at the way you interact with the work. We're looking at the way you understand yourself, your preferences, whether you like your life structured or flexible, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, whether you prefer working on your own or among other people. Moving on to interest, we're looking at things that you always like doing, such as the kind of toys that you've liked playing with, the kind of TV programs you used to watch when you're growing up, what magazines or books you used to read, anything that interests you, that you are passionate about. For instance, who were your role models? What is it that attracted you to them? What is it that you wanted to be like? Who did you want to, imitate when you were growing up? That informs your interest. It's informed by your experiences, your background, and everything you were exposed to in your childhood. Your career has to take that into account. And if you're not passionate about what you are doing, you're not going to be confident. So it's very important that you follow a passion that accommodates, or a career that accommodates your interests. Moving on to values, here we're looking at things that you've decided are important to you, such as the amount of money that you will get from your job, such as the security that's offered by your job, such as the environment you will be working in. There are people who will compromise certain things and not others. For instance, if you feel that you can never work with adults above a certain age, you will always be working with careers. That's a value. You need to know what is it that you're looking for from a job. What is it that you value as a person, so that you do not compromise your standards. Research has shown that if you agree, if your intellect, if your personality, your interests, and your values are in agreement, you will perform and you will achieve your best in any career you choose. The last point I want to talk about is skills and goals. By skills, we are referring to the achievements you have attained in the past. What is it that you involved yourself in high school, outside and inside of school? What is it that you learned? It could be leadership positions. It could be the ability to interact with others. It could be problem-solving skills. It could be anything that you acquired, that you learned, that you did not have initially. And skills are often improved by participating in different activities. So when looking towards going into a certain career, you need to take that into account. What is it that you've learned from primary, middle, high school, so that when you get to the tertiary institution, all of those can help you prepare yourself for the world of work. Now, by goals, we are referring to what is it that you want to attain at the end of the day in the career that you are going into. It could be a comfortable life. It could be a place where you will actualize your potential to the fullest. It could be a place where your gifts and abilities are used until you are left empty. There's a great saying that says that everybody is supposed to die empty. The graves are rich with potential because people just did not use what they have. By goals, you are deciding for yourself, this is what I'm going to do. These are the skills that I'm going to use. These are the personality qualities that will be a great resource for me. And these are the interests that will be satisfied or gratified by the passion that I have in this career. And this is the aptitude or the natural abilities to learn, or the learning that I have acquired that I will use to perform and do my best in my career. In sum, I would like to say it is very important that you remember you spend most of your time at work. You therefore need to choose a career that will not demand of you to change yourself, but rather it must suit you. You must decide that your personality, your interests, things that are important to you that cannot be changed easily, such as your character, cannot be compromised. It is an absolute necessity that you choose a career that resonates with you, because we are in an era where we are constructing careers and not fitting into them. I wish you all the best with your career decisions in the future.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
I'm certain that the information and tools that you have received today will make a positive difference to your future and your career. As you sit here today, your most valuable asset by far is your future earning stream, and that is your choice. My final advice to you is to use this information to the best of your ability. Go out there and ask questions, contact the appropriate people, investigate your options, and never give up. You are the master of your own destiny. Like Nedbank, you too can make things happen.
Make sure that we take it to the top.
We hope you enjoyed this broadcast, because let me tell you, we did. We had so much fun.
Most definitely.
Wow.
Thank you so much for being the superstars of the show and joining us.
Yes, of course. Now, my final advice as you head into the world of work is quite simply, like Nedbank says, make things happen.
Now, we hope you've got a whole lot more clarity on the opportunities ahead of you as you carve out your career path.
Yes.
It's been great. So go out there, study, chase that dream, because you know what? You can do it, man.
Of course, there's your dream. Chase it quickly.
Chase it.
Chase it.
Make things
You
happen.
Fine, let's go. Yeah.
We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it high. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top. We got to keep it moving. We got to never stop. We got to keep it moving. Make sure that we take it to the top.